Hey, welcome back, everybody. So in this video, I'm going to do an update on Chris Watts' case and his pretrial, I guess you'd call them, in hearings that they've had. They had some on Friday, and they had more of them today. So Friday the 28th, the judge ruled that Mr. Watts must give up cheek swabs, DNA, and complete handprints and footprints, along with the release of photographs of his hands, arms, and back and neck area that was taken when he was actually booked in the jail. The restraining order that he has against himself, the judge said, the restraining order, you can keep that, keep your mouth shut, but you have to release all this other information. That's according to the CBI, that's the Colorado Bureau of Investigation. So, yeah. And as for the non-porous bags, I'm going to put up a photo here of, I'm sorry for this, but I'm going to put up a photo here of the actual site where Chris had disposed of Shannon and Bella and Celeste. And in those arrows, the blue ones are of where they actually collected evidence, and the red arrows are where they are the wife and children were disposed of. Now, the blue arrows, a couple of them are where they collected the non-porous bags, and these are bags that are like those reusable shopping bags. That's that plastic like that. They weren't shopping bags, but it was plastic like that. I don't know how to describe that anything other than that, but and they also found possible DNA on the lid of the one tank where Chris may have cut himself while trying to open it or place one of the children in it. They're not sure if it's his blood or if it's theirs. They haven't been able to compare it because he refused to give DNA evidence up until this point. So now with the court order saying he has to, they can actually compare it, which is going to back the crime lab up even more. Chris's total is facing 9 felony charges. 3 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of first-degree murder of a child under the age of 12, where you were the custodial parent or in the supervisory role, 1 count of termination of pregnancy, 3 counts of tampering with a body. Yeah. So that's where he's at right now. According to what the prosecuting attorneys told the judge, they still may, depending upon the evidence that is released from the evidence from the DNA and from the fingerprints, footprints, and handprints and palm prints, they may have additional charges that they will file along with that. So now I'm going to go through some rumors really quick about Chris, and since he's been incarcerated in jail. Chris, this is the rumor. I'll read the rumor and then I'll tell you if it's true or false. Chris Watts is allowed to smoke cigarettes and enjoy espresso coffees while he is meeting with his legal team. This was reported on KBL Channel 10. That is false. He doesn't smoke cigarettes at all. Now, I don't know where the hell you're going to get an espresso in a jail. He could have a cup of coffee, but yeah, again, people they're fishing for stuff out there, and it doesn't take that hard or that long to actually do a little bit of journalism. Next, Chris Watts has refused to shower or speak with the guards since he's been in custody. This is true. He has been forced to take a couple of showers. He is absolutely refusing to speak to guards or say anything. One guard actually released, he made a statement. I wouldn't say he released it, but he just said he's kind of catatonic. He doesn't do or say or much of anything. Next, so that one is true. Chris Watts spends up to 14 hours a day sleeping on a mattress balled up in the corner and not on the concrete bed area. This is true. It's the farthest away corner underneath the sink by the toilet. He's sleeping on a balled up mattress, which is a hard plastic covered mattress. He folds it up and then wedges it underneath there and then sleeps on that. He doesn't want to be anywhere near the door or the windows or the bed, which is just as you come in. So that one is true as well. Chris has a new lawyer that has been hired for his defense team. This is false. Chris still only has one attorney, a court-appointed attorney. He is trying to hire a second attorney, but he has not. As of Friday, I think it was the 28th, he has not hired a second attorney or anyone else for his legal team. There was another attorney who works for the same law office as his court-appointed attorney, who has been to trial with him, the one attorney, and helped him separate and lay out paperwork and stuff like that. But he's not on the actual legal team. Next one is that was false. Next one is Chris Watt's legal team has hired a forensic specialist to help them go through the evidence that has been gathered by the prosecution, at this point, and the CBI. This is false. They did reach out to a forensic specialist who did work on the O.J. Simpson case, but because of when this case will actually get to court, he's already booked up and has declined. So they're on a hunt, I guess, for another forensic specialist. So that one's false. Next one, Chris Watt has mentioned committing suicide while in jail or to the police before he was locked up in the Weld County Jail. This is sort of true. He never mentioned it at the actual jail. At the actual police department, according to an affidavit and that was filed with the court, Chris did mention that he was better off dead himself. He never actually said the word suicide. He just said he was better off dead after in light of all of this what was going on. After he confessed, he said he would talk to him, and this was the actual event where he said this. He said he would talk to the police after he called his father and spoke with him, and then after he actually confessed to killing his wife and who was pregnant, he said, "I'm better off not being around anymore," or something to that effect. So they said that triggered the suicide watch, which he's still currently underneath. So that one is sort of true. Next one, Christopher Watts is facing 100 years if convicted on all charges. This one is sort of true. If he's convicted on all charges, he's looking at 125 years. Yes, 125 years. And this is how it breaks down. All right, if he's convicted and he gets the full penalty on every single one of the charges, is 125 years. He'd be eligible for parole in just under 60 years. 15 years for each of if he's convicted of the first degree murder of someone under the age of 12, where you're a custodial parent or in a supervisory role of them. 20 years for each of the life sentences for first degree murder. So that's 15, 15, 20, 20, 20. Okay? And then 10 years for on each charge for tampering with a human body. That's 10, 10, and 10. And then 5 years on the termination of a pregnancy. That equals 125 years if he's convicted on all charges. Now, why does the prosecution attorney, charge first degree murder and then other first degree murders? It's because how our legal system works and how a jury works. If the jury is given a set of instructions where they go and they deliberate the case, if he doesn't meet the qualifications of the first degree murder, those 3 charges of first degree murder, he may meet the requirements that are for the 2 cases of first degree murder for someone under the age of 12. So they'll toss those 3 and they may convict him for these 2 first degree murder charges of someone under the age of 12. That would give him 40 years, eligible for parole with good time. He could be out in 25 years. All right. And then with the tampering with a human body, the 10, 10, and 10, if he's if he doesn't meet those requirements, he's definitely going to meet the requirements for the termination of pregnancy, because he admitted to killing Shanann and terminating the pregnancy. So at the very least, he's going to get found guilty here and here, unless they're able to prove that he did it because of mental defect, or that he mentally wasn't capable of knowing what was right or wrong at the time of his act. Is there a way he could actually get off on this? Well, we've seen in the past where we've had a family annihilator, a mother, who has drowned all of her children or hacked them up, and they were found, not guilty because of reason, of mental disorder, or they basically went nuts, and they were then institutionalized in a mental hospital the rest of their lives, for an indefinite period of time is how they've actually put it. But it has happened. What are the chances? We don't know that he can get off on all these charges and be found, innocent by mental defect, or he mentally wasn't there. He was crazy. Could happen. Don't know. Again, I'm just reporting the facts to you. I researched the question, and then I get the answer, and I write it down on, and then I find that I hear the next question, and I write it down, and then I research the answer. Do I know anybody personally in this case? Nope. Don't know anybody personally in this case. I do know, and I have family members who work in the prosecution office in one, but they work in the prosecutor's office. So, and I can't ask them direct questions about this case, but I bounce the legal questions off of them because I want to know. Because I'm curious, just like anybody else, and they all know me. So they've been around me in my entire life, so they know that I'm a little bit strange upstairs here, and now I make videos about it, and you get to watch them. Yay! So, and I know other people in law enforcement, and where I can ask questions about on that side of it. I mean, I research this stuff because it's interesting to me. I've been an Anne Rule, Anne Rice fan my entire life, and now it's kind of like I'm watching the live book version. So hey, thanks again for stopping by. You stay safe out there, America.